So the question's been popping up more and more recently. Do we need a ban list right now? So make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So now that we've had a couple weeks to kind of pass through, heading through the ends of national season, we have on the back burner Chaos Origins, which is going to be coming up here very, very, very shortly. Trust me, this set is awesome. I am super excited to get to see this. Also, having the characters back on the boxes now is so cool. Like, I am super excited to see that. But the presentation with the current format has been kind of raising a few questions from the player base, and it is, heading on in to Chaos Origins, do we need to clean this format up a little bit? Which is where, we kind of come back to the discussion on, is Cool Toon really acceptable to allow it to kind of continue running around within the format? And from the last couple of events I have been to, I have constantly heard the same thing. Players are not happy with Cool Toon being able to look at the hand, manipulate the top draw of your deck, the ability to rip something out of your extra deck. The casual player base is not happy because that's more tools than the normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Power creep should be able to do. Noroi getting to peep the hand was... I didn't really hear people be too upset about that, but when I'm able to manipulate your draw, get hand advantage, and then start to combine these tools together, it's like the deck is, it's like it's a mind reader, but it's actually has all the tools to appropriately, ruin your day. So, in the sake of this, I would not be surprised to see Rotary eventually get banned. I think a lot of people in the TCG, you got to remember, the OCG has a ban list coming up here very, very soon. All right, by the end of this month, you are going to be seeing a ban list coming down the pipeline for the OCG. That list, I think, is going to tell us the current state of which, how Japan is viewing things right now. Whether or not they want to clean up certain things like Cool Toons, the ability to peek into these hands, all sorts of things like that. And also, on that side of things, it's going to tell us where they're going to start to view, cleaning up the Toon FTKs that are running. I assume that Konami's fully aware that, Dark Eradicator, Warlock, and all that, but that's the OCG side of things. They've got 99 more problems than we do, though our overlap is kind of, the Cool Toon madness and things like that. But coming back here to the TCG, I think Cool Toon is just kind of the problem right now. It's the unfair deck that the casual players aren't enjoying. And if you guys remember, if you look back to Tier Elements format, where you had casual players that were not wanting to go to stores because tier format was just grinding out numbers. And we saw, I hate to tell you this, but when locals' attendance numbers are starting to drop because of the formats, and when these LGSs, Konami's looking at data. They're not stupid. They're realizing, okay, maybe this isn't as bad as Tier Elements format, but there's starting to be a significant drop within numbers. So then you have to see, okay, well, we have to make an adjustment for this. Right now, on the actual collector side of the game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just, they're hitting the metrics. They are pulling in great things, Magnificent Monsters, the manga riff. They are doing absolutely splendid work for that. It's just the balancing aspect of the health of the competitive play versus the collector's market. There's always going to be a great disconnect there, and that's where we see Konami using these ban lists as marketing tools to entice you, yes, you, the consumer, to want to buy the latest, coolest, newest product. Whether or not it be ye old power creep and a ban list, or it's just a new set and then we natural power creep out things. But they've been using that a lot less lately. Look at the last list where they took, Draco Tail and all of that and actually, checked it when they didn't really need to. So it's more or less a aggressive marketing tool to help them, get you enticed to buy a new product. But with that being said, In terms of, where the rest of the format kind of lies, Sky Striker's becoming more and more of a hot topic button. A lot of people are like, well, I think Sky Striker Engage needs to go back to 1. All right, well, first of all, Sky Striker won a couple of nationals. It's been doing all right. And I'm not going to sit here, I'm going to defend it. But if we're going to, jump over everything else and go after Sky Striker, that doesn't feel quite as right. For some reason, Sky Striker has been a great marketing tool for Konami. The deck does show Age of Time, but Konami's also proven to us that they can just revitalize whatever they want. Take a look at how Fallen in the Virtuous has become one of the most charismatic staples within the current sphere of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that card, plus Fallen of the White Dragon, was enough to revive the entirety of Branded. Branded was kind of on a choo-choo train on out of the format. We were all like, bye. And then Konami went smashed right back on around and said, nah, we're not done. Konami, I think it's cool that we are seeing decks that are as old as things like Branded, as old as Sky Striker, as old as Orcust, still sticking around within competitive play. I mean, take a look at Orcust, for example. Orcust, I've read and seen a lot of people that are just getting absolutely bonked by Orcust this format. But I don't see people complaining about wanting to put the Orcust cards on a ban list. I think a lot of people just kind of come to the realization that, people that want to spend money on this game, if the only thing that they have to do is upgrade staples every time a new set comes out, like if I've got Orcust already built and I've just got to go pick up, some Dominus Sparks, that's fine. I think that's kind of been like the transitionatory period that Konami wants. But also at the same time, it does drag the game out a little bit. That's been one of the other complaints I've heard from players fairly recently. Branded's been here for too long. Do you know how many people complained about Yummy sticking around for almost, oh God, how many months did we have Yummy? Yummy's still here. I mean, it's still in the background, but like the complaints have worn down on it. It's the meta fatigue effect that makes people not happy to continuously see the same recurring themes in the competitive space. But for some reason, it's like, you take a 6-month break and you come back. It's like, oh my God, the meta's still the same. Konami's not actually fixing the game. I cannot believe that Sky Striker Engage Ray is still a card. Stupid Konami not knowing how to design this game. And then it's just like, they just disregard the fact that Cool Tune's in the meta. Cool Tune, yeah, sounds like my dad's DJ mixtape from the 80s. Konami would never make a theme like that. Seriously. These are things I have heard from people. You got people out here that are just like, Cool Tunes, Sky Striker needs to be banned. And it's like, the fuck do you even know about this game at this point? Like, that's crazy, man. Like, if you want to start, and this is always the thing we get into, like, the custom ban lists and stuff, too. You got people that are, they want to hit, the deck that just beat them last Tuesday at Locals. Wasn't Sky Striker, wasn't Cool Tune. They actually lost to Battling Boxers. And suddenly, Rhoda needs to be banned because they lost to a top deck Rhoda into Battling Boxer full combo. And that's not allowed. No, but seriously, individuals should never be allowed to make ban lists within this format. Nobody's ever going to be happy. But things need to be fixed right now. Cool Tune needs some sort of fix. Fallen in the Virtuous has been a problem for way longer than we can kind of imagine right now. We really, really need to do something about that card itself. I don't know if the answer is just limiting it to 1. Limiting it to 2 is not going to do a lot, but the problem is it's still searchable. And, I truly do think that Fallen and Virtuous is probably the first topic of conversation we need to be having with fixing the game. And also, the other hits around the rest of the format, too. There's like 7 decks that you could potentially go down and check on, but I think consistency enablers are going to be some interesting things. But outside of that, that's really all I've got right now. With how things are right now, within the scope of the meta and so forth. You know, there's some big outliers, like I said, but we'll see where things are going to get cleaned up. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back another day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.